Let's talk about a myth that has probably stopped more people from owning silver than anything else. The rumor that silver is too volatile. You may have seen it before online, in a comment section, in a video where someone repeats something they've never actually researched. And it's a shame because the data tells a completely different story. I don't want people missing one of the best opportunities forming right now because of outdated and, frankly, wrong information. Before we begin, remember to like this video and subscribe for more economic updates. So where did this idea come from? It didn't come from long-term price behavior. It didn't come from volatility studies. It didn't come from industrial supply-demand data. It came from two events, two man-made speculation-driven spikes that do not represent the silver market we have today. In the period from mid-1979 to early 1980, three billionaire brothers attempted to corner the silver market using massive leverage. During that period, silver ran from $10 to $50 in about 4 months. Not because of fundamentals, but because the market was pushed into an extreme overbought position. The data makes it obvious. The long-term gold-silver ratio, typically 50 to 60 to 1, collapsed to around 17 to 1. Industrial demand didn't support anything close to that. The price detached completely from economic reality. And when the Fed stepped in, raising margins and limiting positions, the speculation unwound and prices fell back to fundamental levels. That's not natural volatility. That's leverage unwinding. Now let's fast forward 31 years to the period from mid-2010 to 2011, during the first major wave of quantitative easing. Silver ran from the high teens to nearly $50 in under a year. But again, it wasn't fundamentals. The gold-silver ratio dropped into the low 30s, still far outside its natural 50-60 range. Industrial demand was not surging. Mine supply wasn't tightening. It was a liquidity chase, not structural shift. Two events 30 years apart, both made by man-made speculation, not inherent volatility. Now remove those two events and look at silver's behavior over time. What do you see? Silver moved within normal, steady ranges, often comparable to the stock market, without the volatility people associate with it. In other words, the idea that silver is wildly unpredictable simply doesn't match decades of data. The label that people still repeat was never based on reality. Industrial demand is the dominant force today. Nearly 60% of global silver demand comes from industry, including solar, electric vehicles, power grid expansion, 5G, medical technology, data infrastructure, and more. These aren't fads. They are multi-decade build-outs that require silver. We also have multiple consecutive supply deficits. According to the Silver Institute, mine supply cannot rise fast enough. Most silver is produced as a byproduct, so you can't just decide to mine more. The gold-silver ratio is elevated, not compressed. Today, the gold-silver ratio sits around 80 to 1, far above the long-term historical 50-60 to 1 range. A compressed ratio like 1980 or 2011 signals an overbought top. An elevated ratio shows signs that there is room to rise, not fall. When silver is priced this far above its historical relationship to gold, it's not expensive. It's undervalued relative to long-term norms. And lastly, silver aligns with gold, liquidity, and the dollar. It doesn't fight them. The Federal Reserve has announced a shift out of quantitative tightening. As of December 1st, 2025, historically, once liquidity begins to return, silver doesn't just follow gold, it typically outperforms it, especially in the early phases of easing cycles. That's not volatility, that's leverage on solid fundamentals. When we look at silver's actual price behavior over the last decade, aside from the global shock in early 2020, when every asset fell, silver shows higher lows, higher highs, no structural collapses, no 1980 style unwinding, no disconnect from fundamentals. That's what a mature demand-supported market looks like. Setups like this don't appear often, sometimes once a decade, sometimes once a generation. Before you dismiss silver because of something you've heard, take a fresh look with today's facts. You might find this is an opportunity you don't want to miss. If you'd like to walk through the numbers, we're here. Real facts, real education, no internet myths. Until next time.
Sign up for your one-on-one web conference with Augusta Precious Metals today. No commissions, no pressure, just education. Click the link in the description to learn more.